Christmas is over, guys. That is a shame. Hey guys, I hope you're well. My name's Blakemore. I teach travel and sometimes triumph from what a start to the video. Christmas is over. Sad times. I've had 3 weeks off, so that's always nice. If you're new to my channel, I make a range of teaching and traveling videos, so if you want to, feel free to hit the like button. You can subscribe down in the corner, and I try and make content weekly. Oh, I feel like I'm already losing my voice. That's like the last week of school before the Christmas. Hopefully not. If you're new, I usually make a week in the life of a teacher videos. Now, this is going to be a new week in the life of a teacher video, and the theme for this week is going to be behaviour management. One of the things I did over the holidays is ask you guys what you want to see more of in terms of my videos. Lots of you said things about behaviour management, so I thought, yeah, I can see where you're going with that, because when you come back from the holidays, children are a little bit more sprightly. They're a bit more fidgety, if you like, so you need to try and restore that structure back into their lives, because a lot of them might not have had that over the holidays. I'm going to talk you through what I do within my classroom, almost like a behaviour management blueprint, if you like. Plan for today is going to be quite straightforward. We've got English, maths, got topic, it's all straight in today, first day back, but I'm sure it's going to be okay, and I'll be able to talk to you more about behaviour management throughout the day. I feel like I'm going to be saying things like, oh, show me that you're listening, and oh, that would have been a really good answer, but you shouted that one out, and oh, those two people over there, they're sitting nicely, let's see if the other person can sit nicely too. I feel like I'm going to say lots of things like that today, but it should be a pretty good day. So this is the part of the day where I check in with you guys just to say how everything has gone, and it's gone pretty quickly. English and maths to start off with, along with a couple of free periods just to sort of get myself grounded, fully understand what I'm doing this week, because I feel like I'm on another planet. Obviously I sort of knew that at the start of the day, but at the same time just needed that time to basically recollect everything. They also spent some time in the afternoon doing these sort of little Candora men, basically, and that's going to form part of the display, and I look forward to showing you that in a bit. I spent some time with the ruler chipping away at bits of blue tack that had smeared on the windows, and that took a long sort of time, but eventually got that done and started to create a bit of a sand background border thing, and it'll eventually become a bit of a desert. I wish it was dessert. It'll become a desert for a social studies display. Behaviour management, so how has that been today? And actually, it was quite good. I feel like I'm definitely going to need to do a few bits, just making sure that everyone's sort of quiet when they're in the corridors and things like that, but actually behaviour management today was surprisingly quite good. Usually children come back with less structure and just, as I said at the start, a bit fidgety. So I want to tell you a little bit more about the behaviour management blueprint in the future, but I'll tell you that a bit more tomorrow, because today I've spent far too long just sort of trying to get things sorted for this display. One thing I will say though, before I change to tomorrow, is it's always worth reminding children of the school rules when you come back from any term. When the children have had 3 weeks off, it's important for them to still understand what's accepted and what's not accepted, and just to make sure that everyone's on a level playing field at the start of each term. Okay, so behaviour management blueprint, what do I mean by that? So in effect, what I mean is the things that I do every day to manage behaviour, and it's quite straightforward. Basically, I have a range of different strategies that I've got going on at the moment that just work sort of in sync with each other. So one of them is this that you can see here. Hopefully you can pick that up on camera. Here it says Superstar Table. So this is the Superstar Table trophy. I've had this going for absolutely years. I've only got 3 tables in my class. In previous classes I've had many more. Essentially, I can set an objective for the lesson, for example, which table is going to be working the hardest, showing the best handwriting, X, Y, Z, it doesn't really matter, and the children work towards that objective. It usually works well when I say, whoever tidies up the table the best. That usually works well, and they work towards just simply getting this on their table. Now, it sounds really simple, but you'd be surprised how competitive they get to try and earn that trophy. So that's just something table orientated. Our school have tried to focus more on team orientated behaviour management, and I'll get into what we do for that in a second, but at a more basic level I have an objective that comes from this board over here. So you'll have seen this probably before. This is a sweet behaviour board, and each week I will set a new objective. So this week's is keeping tables and corridors tidy and focus closely when working, so making sure they're concentrating and things like that. Just thought first week back, etc., etc. Then if the whole class are working towards an objective well, they get a point towards their objective. They only need 5 in a box, and then they get a reward, an incentive. I still find at this age they need that incentive as a class to work towards. Group level, you've seen the Superstar Table Trophy, and then if you haven't already seen the video, you've got Secret Child. Secret Child is essentially, I pick a child in my head at the start of the day and say something along the lines of, right, my secret child is going to show me that they are able to keep tables and corridors tidy. The children would then work towards that specific thing, but I can use it in a range of different situations and sort of say, oh, my secret child is also doing whatever. So focusing on their work, they're also showing me fantastic handwriting, capital letters, full stop. You get the idea. So that secret child can then be built into my lessons as well, which works really, really well. The one thing I'll say, which I partially mentioned yesterday, everyone needs to be on the same page each week. Setting up that board is a fantastic way for everyone to be on the same page, to go through rules and things like that and what people struggle with the week before. That way you can be consistent. When it comes to behaviour management, consistency is the key. There's lots of keys, to be fair, but one of them is consistency. If you're saying to one child that they need to do whatever it is, they need to sit on the carpet, you also need to say the same to other children. Children do pick up on that, right? Why are you not telling him? Right, in that case, then I'm going to mess around. And if you're going to tell me, then I'm going to be a bit disobedient because you're not telling him. You get that idea. The children pick up on those things and they're clever with it. So you need to make sure that you're really, really consistent. If you're saying one thing to one person, also say the same to one other person. But at the same time, it comes down to mainly being positive when it comes to behaviour management. I can talk all day about all the different rules and obligations in my classroom, but I try and be super, super positive. You have to be with children because they pick up on that positive more than the negative. So if you're saying something positive to one child, you also need to be saying that to the other child, that one who sometimes does struggle to sit on the carpet, because the more consistent positive behaviour reinforcement you give them, the more likely they are to show you that positive behaviour. Now, I know that trying to remain positive all the time it's more difficult. It just is. Because you have those days like I'm feeling right now, I don't know if you can tell, where you are just tired, but that positive takes more effort, but it is more rewarding for both the child and for the teacher. So always try and stick with that. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense and I can talk through how my behaviour management goes throughout this week. So a little bit of a display going on today, which has been quite good. I obviously made the sand yesterday, and the TAs, the lovely TAs of mine, have set up this little tree and then stuck up the little Candora people, so it looks like they're in the desert. And then obviously I'll fill this with a little bit of work, which will be quite good. So let me explain behaviour management today. So things with behaviour management have been completely fine today, to be completely honest with you. At the start of the day, I needed to make sure that the children were aware of the consistency, as I said at the start of the video. So they came straight in and sort of were not messing about, but a bit fidgety on the carpet, if you like. So I just needed to make sure that they were aware of what the rules were and they understood everything that they needed to do throughout the day. So we spent that time to do that, and that sort of allowed them to refocus, if that makes sense. Now, I know that for some people might be thinking, well, if something's not going well and some children aren't behaving, what is the negatives? What happens with those? So our school takes on the approach from Paul Dix in his book, When the Adults Change, or something along those lines. And within that book, it's very much about relationships being key, and I strongly believe that. But one of the big keys is making sure that actually there are consequences. Once upon a time, we had a ladder system, so they would move up if they were doing well, and then move down if they weren't. One of the things that was said was that some children would constantly feel quite negative if they were constantly just being put down. And I get that. Personally, I've used both behaviour management systems, the one I'm using now and the ladder. If you've used both consistently, then I think both can work regardless, to be fair. But I do think it's important for there still to be some consequence, especially when a child knows they've done something wrong, they know what rule they've broken and have broken it deliberately. I think there needs to sometimes be a consequence for that. So we have a system in place where there is a sort of warning system, and then if needed, we can talk to parents and heads and things along those lines. But I'm quite lucky in the way that, you know, this year, I'm going to touch some wood, you know, things have been pretty chill, things have been pretty good. So that is there, but so far so good, and I've been able to just consistently use the positives to sort of proactively negate the negatives. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Okay, so good morning guys. I've not had much sleep, so today will be quite short. One of the things I did want to show you is the house points and explain what they are and why I use those. It's not staying. These are the house points. We've got 4 houses, as you can see, different colours. The children are all in different houses. I hope you can see me. But yeah, why do we use house points when we're on a team-based system? Well, we do still use house points because we are a house-based school, and those are for sort of like going above and beyond. So children are encouraged to sort of bring in additional work. At the same time, you know, it's random acts of kindness. It's things that are sort of going above and beyond in terms of behaviour. Those children who are always doing things. That's what we use the house points for. So it's still something that gets used, and then it correlates towards the end of the year as well. So that's the house point system, quite simple in a way, and yes. So despite having absolutely zero energy today, actually today has gone quite well, and there's been a range of things that really did go well. To start off with, we did some maths, and maths was really cool because children made YouTube videos, they pretended to make YouTube videos about how to tell the time, and they made videos for younger children. That was really good, a little bit of innovation going on there, and children obviously watch a lot of YouTube and enjoy YouTube, so why not play to what they enjoy and let them do what they enjoy. I never know when I make these videos whether I should stick to the theme or explain what's happening in my day. I think there's some people out there who would benefit from seeing what I get up to in my day as well, so here we go. In addition to that, children had a real nice arts and crafts type lesson where they created these little boxes to show, they're behind me, the little Stone Age environments, if you like. They're these ones. Destroy it. These ones. Ta-da! They've talked about the shelters and what's needed, fire, and bushes, and how they can protect themselves, and that was really good. And the children were able to explain it and talk about how our shelters were different to the ones they had in the Stone Age and why, talking about technology and bits and pieces like that. I've also cleared some space. I've got to try and create a bit of a science display as well. I need something like that in my classroom, so that's cleared as well. In addition to that, the children then in the afternoon had a spag lesson. Now I need to explain this one to you. I have these pens. They're these Beryl 2-in-1 ones, and they were absolutely fantastic for the lesson that I taught today. Taught a word class lesson, and for some children that can get extremely confusing if it's all taught in black pen. You're saying, right, these are adjectives, determiners, prepositions, you get the gist. And colour coding each of them using these little 2-in-1 colour pens were really, really good, and allowed the children to understand why a little bit more. It just really made it defined for those children who are more visually stimulated, if you like. Get me with the vocab, although I'm half asleep. These pens are like becoming my staple. Beryl, if you watch this and want to send me some because I can't get them in Dubai, that would be the dream. Doubt you're actually going to see this video, but who knows. So can't recommend these enough for teaching, but other than that, it's on to tomorrow. Learning environment with behaviour for learning is actually key. It's one of the keys that I've not really thought about. End of the day, you are a product of your environment, so it's important to make sure that you set the environment correctly for the children. If it's too cold for the children, for example, you know, children are going to be more active because they're trying to warm up. I know in the UK, back when I was teaching in the UK, when things were really warm, no matter how many behaviour management strategies you had going on, it was too hard to motivate the children to want to do things because they're hot, they're bothered, they don't want to do things. So making sure that the temperature's right in your classroom is important, and sometimes it's hard to regulate that. At the same time, you've also got to think about the position of your children. When it comes to positioning your children, if there's children who struggle to read the board and they're put too far away from the board, then especially in those early years when they struggle to communicate, they're gonna act up because they're going to try and communicate that in a more physical manner. You've also got to think of the placement of where you put certain children in terms of putting children together. That one seems obvious, but sometimes you don't think about where children are sat in terms of the tables, your layout. So all of those different elements are really, really important. So it is the end of the working week. It is Thursday afternoon, which means that it is time for me to go home. But I promised you guys I would speak to you about behaviour management strategies and the real key to it. I've shown you a range of behaviour strategies that I use within my class, and it's fair to say I don't use all of them at the same time. Otherwise, I actually think it would cause more negative behaviour and it would be harder to manage myself. So I use some strategies frequently. Secret Child is something that I'm currently using frequently. All of our classes in Year 3 use Star of the Week, and it's something that we consistently use, so I still have that. And I use the behaviour boards just as a way of backing up themes. They are used quite consistently, and then I sometimes throw the house points out as and when needed. So those sort of things are needed, and I use those quite frequently. I have in the past used the behaviour chart. I don't use that anymore, but previously that has worked for me. At the same time, I have the trophy, the Superstar Table trophy, but I don't really use it as much anymore because children have got better at working in a team. But the children understand how it's used and it can still be used. So the key, what's this? What is the key? And for me, I'm gonna get rid of that. Look at that. The key for me is one single thing: relationships. Relationships are the single biggest thing that develop behaviour within the classroom. If you have a positive relationship with the children in your class, the chances are the behaviour of the children is also going to be positive. Now, far too often we overlook relationships within the classroom, yet that is the key. Someone once told me within my teacher training that the one thing you need to do with children is just love them in an empathy way. So every single day it is about making sure that you try and teach your children the way that you would like your children to be taught, making sure that you're building those relationships, and I promise you that will be really, really significantly beneficial for your teaching. That is why one of the biggest gripes of mine as a teacher is when people get told, don't smile until Christmas. It's absolute baloney. And for that reason, you just need to make sure that the children see you as that role model. You can use a range of behaviour management strategies within your classroom. However, the one key thing I think has really benefited me over time is those relationships. So always think about that first. That marks the end of the video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to like it. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment down below within the comment section. If you're new to my channel, I make a range of teaching and traveling videos, so do feel free to subscribe down in the corner. I make videos weekly. So hopefully I will see you in the next one, guys, but for now, I'm